The Adipurush teaser debate continues. People are saying in 3D it looks much better. It's being compared to Brahmastra's VFX, and now even Ravan is getting its due back. That a film that came out in 2010 looks much better than a film coming out in 2023. So why is this happening? What's the difference between these films? Let's break it all down. Hello guys, I'm Nona, and the first big difference that stands out between Brahmastra and Adipurush is the intention. I've been watching a lot of interviews about Brahmastra, the behind the scenes, why it took them so long to make the films, what were they going through, and through that you understand how much of their time and money they invested into it. They were all in to create this Astroverse, not to just make it for a namesake, but to create a quality product. It's unheard of a film taking so long in recent times, especially in India. The lead actor Ranbir Kapoor didn't take any fees. Over that, he later became a producer on this because he believes in the concept. He is willing to give so much of his time to this project. He didn't need to do that. He could have done 5-10 films in that time and earned a lot of money. But no, Ayan Mukherjee had a vision and is willing to give all his life to create that. And all that got paid off even after so much negativity around the film. It's not perfect at all. It has flaws. But when I see the product, I feel invested. I feel it's worth my time and money. And I want it to grow further. Now let's take Adipurush. Whatever I've heard about it, they wanted to reimagine Ramayana for the younger audiences. They also wanted to create something new, something never done before in Indian cinema. And they even got the desired budget for it. But we all have seen the teaser and we see nothing that was promised. Because they spent the money but not the time that was required. They played the safest bet. They took the narrative of Ramayana. Still, after what we saw, people will go and watch the film because they feel connected to that story. And then they casted a big actor for it. And now the whole film depends on that. So where is the risk? Where is the challenge? For Avatar, James Cameron waited for years to make it because the technology was not there what he wanted. I'm not saying you have to do that, but you have to give way more. You know, recently Amir Khan was asked about his Mahabharat project and he said, Mahabharat can never fail me, but we can fail Mahabharat. Making Mahabharat is like a yagna. It's not just like making any other film. Same goes for Ramayana. What you have set out to do, you have to push boundaries. It's a process that will take time to deliver justice for the source material, which is totally lacking. And I also want to talk about the audience. We cannot just take a figure 500 crore, which is not even official, and keep making direct comparisons with Hollywood films. It makes no sense because you have to also consider the context, when it was being made, by whom, where, who was making it. All of it matters. It's apple and oranges. You cannot just compare it. Let's talk facts. We are still a very young country making visual effects heavy film. Yes, the Indian studios do VFX for Hollywood films and shows, but it's very different. Mostly our VFX houses are providing a service. They are not the creative heads. It's like a restaurant. There's a head chef and there are cooks. Head chef will create the recipe and write the instructions and then give it to the cooks, who have to follow it and create the dish. Yes, the cooks need to be talented to do it, to replicate it. But to create a new recipe is a different thing altogether. So the Indian VFX studios are cooks and the chef is in Hollywood who are telling them what to do. Red Chilli VFX are the only VFX studio in India who's doing R&D in visual effects. They are creating their own technology and processes. And you can see that in Ravan, in Fan, in Zero, in Brahmastra, the chef as well as the cooks were all Indians. So they were creating their own recipe, and that's why it took them so long to perfect it, to get it right. Because again, we are still new to this. Providing service to Hollywood and creating our own are two separate things. Comparison to Hollywood is ridiculous. They have been making visual effects heavy films for 40 years now. We are still catching up to them in terms of technology, budgets, time, experience. Then there's comparison to video games, to YouTube videos. You cannot do that. The process is so different. The process of doing VFX for a feature film is very rigid. They take a long time to adapt to new pipelines. Gaming industry keeps innovating in technology. It keeps evolving because that's the nature of it. People doing VFX on YouTube, they're doing great job, but they have the freedom, no constraints. They don't have to listen to a higher up. They don't have to answer to 10 people. They're not spending as much money as a film is. So we as audience also have to stop coming up with random things, which is not adding anything to what we are talking about actually. If you think I made any sense in this video, check out this video next where I talk about how Indian cinema is changing for good. Do hit the like button, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.